Who is best positioned to take advantage of the changes in the auto space right now?
Look, it's a great point. And right now, it's a green tidal wave. And that's what we're seeing now take place in the U.S., really Biden driven green tidal wave because of these EV tax credits. And what you're starting to see now, the lifting of the 200K ceiling, that's going to be bullish for the likes of Tesla and GM. And the increase in overall of tax credits is another tailwind for the space. I believe Tesla continues to be the main share gainer, incrementally in the U.S., especially with these tax credits. But you look at GM, I look at Ford. Those are ones. I think GM is just a further re-rating stock as they dive into the deep end of the pool. And this is not a fad. I mean, I believe it's really the biggest transformation the auto industry has seen since the 1950s.
Well, and you're saying we're in the first inning of a $5 trillion market opportunity in electric vehicles in the next decade. So again, I think people are starting to reflect on what share of that is going to the incumbents, to existing players whose equity has been traded pretty cheap because the new kids on the block seem to have all the excitement and all the buzz behind them. I mean, does Lordstown at, around $10 a share offer an intriguing opportunity, or is Ford the better bet?
Look, I think right now, first off, a rising tide is not going to lift all boats. So I think investors need to pick the secular winners. You look at a Ford, that $30 billion, that was a shot across the bow, not just to Tesla, but the broader EV landscape, VW and others really globally. And I think what you're starting to see with some of these niche players, Fisker, I believe, is going to have a lot of success. But you're starting to see those incumbent vendors, Tesla, some of the core EV names, at least from a street perspective, Bloom's coming off the road. I believe it's temporary. But right now, there's a lot more room than just one boat in the ocean. And I think this $5 trillion green tidal wave just kicking into its next gear. What we saw from the Senate last night, I view that as a game changer from a tax credit perspective.
Phil highlighted this, but there's still, Dan, plenty of concerns about just how green electric vehicles really are in the amount of carbon that's required to make them and so forth. Where is this going to all point as we see the ESG movement really sort of pressuring companies like Exxon? What happens when EVs themselves when people take a closer look at their environmental impact?
Yeah, and I think that you start to go down the sort of path. That's definitely going to be a big question. But right now, it's 3% of automobiles globally are EVs. We think it goes to 10% by 2025, 20% by 2030. But, we still have a lot of room before now and then. And I think you look at these green footprints and everything we're seeing in the U.S., it's carrot and the stick. And now the EV tax credits combined with the overall green tidal wave, now we're seeing the U.S. catch up to Europe and China, which is really what I view as, a big part of our overall green tidal wave thesis.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.